Welcome to the Blow Up the Blueprint podcast, where it's all about how to use creative thinking in your business for a standout brand. With your host, Gifford.
Hi guys, it's Jo here, and welcome to episode 9 of the Blow Up the Blueprint podcast. We're out on a little walk this afternoon as I'm recording this. It is an absolutely scorching June day, and here in the UK it's so beautiful. And one of the nice things about working for yourself and having a platform and all that kind of stuff is that you can kind of create it as and where you want to. So today I'm taking you guys with me on a walk through the fens to get some air and to sit outside. And it's always good to get a new perspective on things. It's always good to change the scenery and switch things up in your day, because that's where creativity lies as well. So this is going to be a really short episode today. We've had a couple of longer sort of interviews. We had Heather Jones, the brain trainer, last week, and we had the wonderful Suzanne Westwood. Both of them talking about how they use creativity in their respective businesses. So do go and check out those episodes. And thank you to all of you who have been sending me feedback on the show. And as always, you can reach out to me via email, jo@jogifford.co. I always love to hear your thoughts on what you've enjoyed about the show and what you'd love to hear more of, and how Blow Up the Blueprint podcast has been helping you get creative in your business. So my super short episode today is all about creative thinking and how sometimes really simple things can give you an idea. And so, this was actually something which I wrote a short blog post on a while ago about how cloud eggs really resemble a kind of creative thinking. Now, cloud eggs, for the uninitiated, are an Instagram hashtag phenomenon right now. So, a few weeks ago, I jumped on that bandwagon and, got experimenting with creating cloud eggs. And essentially what a cloud egg is a separation of the egg whites and the egg yolks, and you whisk up the egg whites just like you would if you were making a meringue, and you pop them back into the oven with a little dent for where you're going to add the yolk, and you bake it for about 5 minutes, and then you put the egg yolk back in and bake it again for another 4 or 5 minutes. And it is essentially just an egg. It's a deconstructed egg that's been created to become something else. It's been deconstructed, mixed with other things, so you can add all sorts of stuff to that bottom layer, to the egg white layer. I've been adding bacon, onions, herbs, all sorts of stuff, some Parmesan cheese. And you can bake them up, and you pop the egg yolk back on, and you end up with something that's completely different, something that is now taking the foodies by storm. It's rocking up in the hipster cafes. It's keeping my young girls, Eva and Mia, are enjoying their eggs for their lunch and tea time, because they're really different. It's kind of weird to have this fluffy sort of meringue-looking thing that's a protein-packed meal. And whilst making one the other week, I was really struck by how this simple model really speaks to oftentimes how creative thinking can occur. That this was an everyday object, and this is a simple egg, and it's been deconstructed and reimagined. And sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to do something that's completely crazy, that's completely new. Sometimes it needs to be a deconstruction and a reimagining, just like our friend the cloud egg. And so we're taking something really simple, we're dividing it up, we're whisking it, so we're changing the format, adding extra ingredients in, and rebaking it. So it's something that we recognise, that we're familiar with. It's an egg, after all. Most of us know what they are. We're used to them. But it has a whole new lease of life. It's been, some fresh ideas have been brought to it. And so now it's gracing the tables of cafes and homes and restaurants in a whole new way. The humble egg has been reimagined in this way. And as I was making one of these the other day and whisking it up, as I say, I was really struck by how simple that is and how we can apply that principle to problems that we're facing in life and in business. You can deconstruct it and take a new view, which is the muscle that we flex when we do creative thinking. When we apply creative thinking strategies, we are looking at things from a new angle, and that's where the magic is. And the more often you can practice that, you can practice, questioning the norm, questioning the everyday, seeing what else we can do with it, having ideas about things. You might not use any of the ideas. You might list down 100 ideas, but one might be amazing. And the beauty is in just practicing having the ideas. Because the more you do that, guys, the more you deconstruct your egg and fluff it up and mix things back in and see things in new ways, the more your brain gets used to reacting in that way. And it's like anything, I haven't done crosswords and brain training stuff for a while. Every now and again, I sort of dip back in and I do lots of exercises to keep my brain up to speed with logic problems and things like that. And it's the same with creative thinking. The more you do it, the easier it becomes and the more natural it becomes. So that you begin to question things all the time. You can view situations in a whole new way. And, you start to have ideas. So you start to see how things could change and be different and be approached in a new way. And that's where the magic is. So from the humble egg to a cloud egg, it's such a simple visual. And, when I wrote a short blog post on this recently on my site, joegifford.co, I had a lot of emails back from people saying, wow, that just really struck home. So I'd love to hear what you think. If you can resonate with that visual of an egg being deconstructed, mixed back up and created into something new. And what other examples can you think of things which have been taken apart and put back together in a whole new way, that we see them in a whole new light? And that's a great exercise too, once you start thinking about other examples of that. And it also, it gives us all hope, doesn't it, that we don't have to be, an amazing one-off brain, at least to think of something completely new, because we always stand on the shoulders of what's gone before us. We stand on the shoulders of ideas that go before us, of people that go before us, of influencers, of creators, of, ages of humanity that have created things before us. And sometimes it's as simple as taking one of those ideas and adding a new spin to it. So we can think about places where you can find those differences, where you can look at everyday things and reimagine them. And that's a little challenge for you guys to have a go at. Perhaps you can list 5 everyday objects, everyday things, and see how you could do them differently. I'd love to see your ideas. You can email them to me, joe@joegifford.co, along with any feedback from the episodes and what you would love to hear on the show about creative thinking and blowing up the blueprint. And if you haven't already joined us in my free Facebook community, just have a search for Blow Up the Blueprint. And we have a great community there of people who are all about igniting their brilliance and getting creative in their business. Really supportive place, which I'm proud to have. Lots of amazing people in there, so do come and join us. As always, if you have enjoyed the show, please take a second to pop on over to iTunes and leave me a note and share the show with anyone else who you think would find it really useful. I'm excited to have lots of great interviewees lined up for you guys, lots of exciting people that are going to be sharing their thoughts on creativity and creative thinking in the show. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to go and get an ice cream, guys. So wishing you a super happy day, and I'll be back soon. Bye.